Alrighty, we're going to go ahead and get started with the Unit 3, Section 1 notes. And in this unit, we're going to start talking about how to solve algebraic equations. In a previous unit, we talked about expressions not having equal signs, and that's the difference between an expression and an equation. So you'll see here that an equation is a math sentence that has an equal sign between two expressions. And above that definition are two examples. So x plus 6 equals 9 and n divided by 2 equals 9 are both equations. Now, a solution to that equation is a number that when substituted for the variable produces a true statement. So for example, if we take our first equation, x plus 6 equals 9, in order to make that a true statement, x must equal 3, so 3 plus 6 equals 9. If we look at our second example, n divided by 2 equals 9, we know that in order to make that a true statement, n must equal 18. So 18 divided by 2 equals 9. Just remember that expressions do not have equal signs and equations do. So we're going to go ahead and look at some verbal sentences here and write them as equations. So the first one says the difference of 11 and y equals -9. So you know here from your keywords that difference means subtraction. It's actually the answer to a subtraction problem. So 11 minus y equals -9. So we know difference is the answer to our subtraction problem, and the answer here is in fact -9. If we look at number 2, the sum of 41 and w is 26. So we know here also that the sum is an answer to an addition problem. So then simply we have 41 plus w equals 26. Again, is 26 is the sum, and our answer is 26. Quotient, on the other hand, is an answer to a division problem. So the quotient of r and 6 equals -4. So r divided by 6 equals -4. Lastly, we have the product of 18 and p is 54. Product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So we can simply write that as 18p equals 54. Both 18 and p are factors when multiplied together, giving us a product of 54. In this next section, we're going to see if the variable given is in fact a possible solution. So we have v divided by -4 equals 13. It is telling us that v equals -52, so we can simply substitute that variable to see if we get a correct solution. When we substitute -52 for v, and divide that by 4, we do in fact get positive 13, because a negative divided by a negative does in fact give us a positive. For number 2, if we substitute z, we would have 108 equals -36 times -3. We know that a negative times a negative does in fact give us a positive, and when you multiply those two factors together, your product is in fact 108. If we look at number 3, we're going to substitute n, which equals 11, into our equation to see if this is in fact a true solution. When we do that, 27 equals 11 minus 16. That is not true. So n equals 11 would not be a solution to that equation. I'm going to leave number 4 for you to try. Again, just substitute t as -6 wherever you see t in that equation. Alrighty, moving right along. The next section is asking us to match equations with a corresponding question and then to solve it. So you'll see we have 4 equations on the left-hand side with then some questions to match them up with. Number 1 says a divided by 2 equals 36. If we look at this, it matches up with letter B. What number divided by 2 equals 36? I'll go ahead and match all of them up and then we'll go back and solve them. Number 2, 2a equals 36, matches up with letter D. 36 equals 2 times what number? Number 3 matches up with letter C. 2 plus what number equals 36? And lastly, number 4, a minus 36 equals 2 matches up with letter A. What number minus 36 equals 2? So now if we're going to solve these, let's go back and start with number 1. A divided by 2 equals 36. So we're asking ourselves what number divided by 2 equals 36. We know that we can use multiplication to help us solve division problems. So 36 times 2 equals 72. So 72 divided by 2 equals 36. So in this case, A equals 72. If we look at number 2, 2A equals 36. Again, we're asking ourselves 2 times what number does in fact give us 36? And in this case, A will equal 18. I'm going to go ahead and make some more room here. If we look at number 3, 2 plus A equals 36. What number plus 2 is in fact 36? And we know then that A equals 34. Lastly, with number 4, A minus 36 equals 2. We know that with subtraction, we can use addition to find our solution. So A will equal 38. 38 minus 36 does in fact give us 2. The next section is a word problem about a family of elephants walking at a rate of 10 miles per hour. So we want to figure out what time it's going to take the elephant to walk 60 miles. I'll go ahead and give you a clue. Think about setting up a table, or think about 10 miles being for every hour. And if the elephants are traveling 60 miles, how long is it going to take that family to walk? I'll go ahead and let you try this one. If you have questions, again, don't hesitate to ask a teacher. Lastly, to end this section, we have a few review problems. The first section is just asking us to evaluate the expression when x equals -5 and y equals -3. So I'm just simply going to substitute those numbers wherever I see an x or a y. So -5 plus -3. We know when we have two integers with the same signs, we simply add them and keep the sign. So this one is -8. Again, moving right along, number 2, x minus y plus 6. We have -5. That minus sign doesn't go away, so we have minus -3 plus 6. This, it turns into -5 plus 3 plus 6. -5 plus 3 is -2 plus 6, which does in fact give us +4. I'll go ahead and leave 3 for you to try. Again, you're just going to substitute -5 wherever you see an x and -3 wherever you see a y. I will caution you here that in this case, you're multiplying y times 3. And lastly, we're just going to simplify expressions. So we're going to combine those like terms. So in our first example, we're going to have 5c plus 7c plus 2. 5c plus 7c is 12c plus 2. Number 2, before we do anything, we're going to rewrite this with everything in addition. So this will be 6x plus -3 plus 4x plus 1. We then have 6x plus 4x plus -3 plus 1. We have 10x plus -3 plus 1. This is in fact 10x plus -2, or 10x minus 2. Those are the same thing there. I'll go ahead and leave number 3 for you to try. Again, remember that this 7 is going to distribute both to n and to -8. Use that distributive property there. But if you have any questions, ask your teacher. And that concludes section 1 of Unit 3.